Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking about how to avoid being friend zoned on a first date. So maybe you guys went out to a bar together or a restaurant and you thought things were going very well, and then all of a sudden at the end of the date or via text later you get a, hey, I think you're a really nice guy, but I think we should just remain friends. And you're scratching your head wondering, what the heck happened? What's wrong with me? What did I do wrong? Or what can I do moving forward to prevent this from happening in the future? And so in this video, I'm going to talk about several factors that can cause a girl to want to friend zone you, as well as things that you can do to combat that to allow for the best possibility for this relationship to move forward in a positive way. So the first thing, guys, is your mindset. And this is absolutely paramount in your ability to have a healthy relationship with others. If you're going into this interaction or first date with a negative mindset, you're already setting yourself up for failure. In therapy, in cognitive behavior therapy in specific, we call these types of thoughts cognitive distortions. So things such as catastrophizing, assuming the worst case scenario is going to happen, such as her friend zoning you or her not being interested in you, or mind reading, assuming you're knowing what she's thinking, or fortune telling, which is also similar to catastrophizing in that you believe you know what the outcome is going to be of this situation. These types of negative thoughts are going to arise certain negative emotions within you, such as anxiety, self-doubt, worry, or fear, and that's going to come out in the interaction, right? Such as through your body language, through your rate of speech, through the things you say and do, and unfortunately it acts as like a self-fulfilling prophecy where the things that you fear end up coming true because of the behaviors you're exhibiting. And these cognitive distortions as well can form into core beliefs such as, I'm not worthy, I'll never be lovable, and I'll never find the type of person I want in my life. And so it's very important to start becoming more aware of these thoughts. And a great way to do that is through mindfulness meditation. And I'm a huge proponent of it. I've talked about it in previous videos, and we'll be doing a video soon on how to properly mindfully meditate. But essentially, it's just becoming aware of your thoughts as they arise. And by doing so, you're able to separate yourself more easily and detach and just see those thoughts as they are, just thoughts. And so you won't buy into them so much. And then from there, you can start challenging your thoughts more easily. And so a great way to challenge those thoughts is, one, remembering that she is interested in some way. She would not be going out on a date with you if she didn't find you attractive at all, right? She wouldn't be wasting her time. So having that fundamental assumption or belief that she has some amount of interest in you can be very helpful. Another way to combat these thoughts is by doing positive affirmations, telling yourself things like, I am lovable, I am worthy, and I am attractive. And you may not believe them at the get-go, especially if you've had negative reference experiences in the past, but the more you tell yourself these thoughts, the more that your brain will start to rewire and tell yourself more positive things about yourself. And a great way to streamline this process is to write a list about the things that you have to offer to other people, your positive attributes. So maybe you're an extremely humorous person, you make the entire room laugh, or you're a good listener, or you're very confident, right? Just writing out that entire list and then every day looking at that list once a day can be very helpful in being able to reinforce those positive affirmations because you'll be more likely to believe them. So that's a very helpful tool. The next thing is physical touch. And nothing shows more that this is going to be a man to woman type relationship, and it's not just a friendship vibe, than engaging in some type of physical touch on this first date. And so a great way to do that is from the get-go. If you guys are going to a bar or a restaurant or whatever, you open the door for her as any gentleman would, and as she's going in, you kind of just gracefully, gently put your hand on the lower part of her back, and as she's going in, you kind of just follow in with her. It's a great way to set the tone straight from the initial meeting. As well as throughout the date, you can examine some of her articles of clothing. So for instance, if she has a bracelet on or a necklace, you can say, hey, can I see that bracelet real quick? And then, she gives you her hand. And then as you're talking to her about this bracelet and you're holding her hand, it allows that physical touch to be more reinforced. And that's how this interaction is going to play out. But you also have to be very cognizant of how she's responding to your physical touch. So if she's giving you signs of distress, through her face, or she's kind of turning her body away from you, or she starts nudging away when you're trying to touch her, you have to be very aware of that, and you have to stop immediately. Because otherwise you're going to be coming off as creepy, as too strong, and that you don't respect her boundaries. So you have to be very cognizant of that. On the other hand, If she's engaging in physical contact with you as well, then you know that physical contact is appropriate, in this situation. The next thing, guys, is eye contact. This is a fundamental thing not just to have in your significant relationships with others, your intimate relationships, I should say, but everybody in your life. By doing so, you're showing that you're confident, right? That you're self-assured, that you're grounded in who you are, and that you deserve to be with this person that you're talking with. If the entire interaction on this date, you're doing this, and you're never looking at the person, it shows that you're not confident in who you are, and that you find this person intimidating, and the girl's naturally going to find that unattractive and be a turnoff. So, as a general rule, you should be keeping eye contact pretty often, probably at least around 80% of the time. And every now and again, obviously, you can break eye contact. It's not like you have to stare at her like this the entire time, right? But keeping your eye contact more often than not is going to be very helpful in this situation. The next thing is don't talk so much about yourself. By doing so, you're showing that you're trying to impress this girl, that you're trying to win her over, and there's no sense of mystery about whether you're that interested in her or not. It shows that you're already kind of sold and you're trying to kind of impress her. And on top of that, it shows that you don't care to know about her, that you're self-centered, and that you don't want to know anything about her because you're talking so much about yourself. And lastly, it kind of ruins any type of mystery that you may have had because you're saying so much about yourself that she doesn't have to pull any of that information out of you. And naturally, a girl's going to want to have some type of mystery, and being able to let that mystery unravel organically by asking you questions. So as a general rule, you shouldn't talk about yourself unless she asks something about you. It doesn't mean that from time to time, if she says something that you relate to, like an experience, you could bring that up to kind of allow some rapport. But as a general rule, you should keep that to a minimum and let her ask you questions first. And the best way to do this is by asking her open-ended questions. So things that she can expand upon, right? Things such as, what are you passionate about? Or what made you get into this field? Things that you guys can delve deeper into. And eventually over time, the more that she's talking about herself, she's just going to be like, well, maybe I should ask him some questions too. I don't know anything about him. And then it's more organic that you're bringing up things about yourself because she had asked you. And you can just put little bits of information here and there and then kind of bring the interaction back on herself through those open-ended questions, as opposed to asking her closed-ended questions that result in like a yes or no answer, right? And then go nowhere. So as a general rule, remember, keep the interaction more towards accessing her questions, and then when she's ready, she'll start asking you questions. The next thing, guys, is to create emotional spikes through flirting and teasing. So nothing says being friend zoned like keeping the interaction extremely platonic and boring, right? There has to be some emotional spikes through flirting and teasing. And what that does is that arises certain positive emotions that she'll associate with you. So a great way to do this that I actually learned from Charisma on Command, their channel, is asking ridiculous rhetorical questions. So, for instance, let's say you ask her what is her major in college. Let's say you guys are in college. She says psychology. You'd be like, oh, nice. So how long have you been a serial killer for? Just something funny like that. Or, I remember one time I was on a date with a girl and she's asking, how long have I been pole vaulting for? Because I had done it in high school. And I said, since I was in the womb. I remember pole vaulting over my mom's stomach with an umbilical cord. And she just burst out laughing. She found it was hilarious. And so just adding some of that absurdity can be very helpful. And another way is to use the room to create fun topics of conversation. So a great thing that I like to do is if there's other couples in the room, I'll be like, no, come here. And then, she'll lean in and I'll be like, what do you think that couple's talking about? Like, what's their story? And then you guys end up having this ridiculous conversation about, where they're from, what they're doing, and it creates more rapport, and it also allows some of that physical intimacy to continue to occur. If you guys are whispering in each other's ear and you're laughing, you're getting close talking about it, it's another great way to do that. And the next thing is to have open and relaxed body posture. If you're very close into her and you're like this the entire time, it shows that you're too invested too soon. And it can come off as smothering. So what you want to do is lean back in your chair, have open body posture, and what this does is it shows that you're confident, that you're relaxed. You can kind of take it or leave it. You're not too eager to impress her or anything like that. And that she's gonna have to work harder to be able to win you over. And so this is a great strategy as well to not show like you're overly invested. And as well, if you're a type of person that kind of closes yourself off like this or hunches over, that's also going to show insecurity and lack of confidence in yourself. So even if you're nervous, just try and mirror the body language of someone who's confident, and this will, help you immensely. And the next thing, guys, is to make sure to go for the kiss at the end of the date. There's a lot of coaches out there who say, don't go for the kiss. It's going to ruin the mystery and she's going to know where she stands with you. And I absolutely disagree. I think that through other ways you can show that mystery, again, through not talking so much about yourself, through having that open body language and allowing her to pull that information out of you and stuff like that. You can still achieve that mystery and not knowing where she stands with you while still being dominant and going for the kiss. Again, that's really going to show that man-to-woman relationship and that this is not a friendship vibe. And so by doing so, you're showing that you're masculine, you're a leader, and that you're dominant. And a girl who's very feminine is going to find this attractive. And you don't necessarily have to go for the kiss at the end of the date. If you guys are being very touchy-feely with one another throughout the date, something you can do is something called triangular gazing, in which you look into one eye, and then a few seconds later you look into the next eye of hers, and then look down at her mouth, and kind of just continue that kind of triangle over a few seconds. And then throughout a few minutes, if at any point she looks down at your lips, then you know that she's ready to be kissed, and you can go for it then. And then as well, at the end of the date that you can definitely go for the kiss afterwards if she reciprocates. So make sure to go for the kiss. And the next thing, man, is just don't blow up her phone. If you guys already made plans and it was several days in advance, don't be talking to her throughout the week until the date leads up. All that's showing is you're giving off the relationship, like the friendship vibe, like a pen pal. And it ruins any type of mystery leading up to the date. And she doesn't wonder what you're up to or all that stuff that you can talk about during the date. And so, if on the day of the date comes and you haven't heard from her, you can refer to my video, Subtle Way to Confirm a First Date, and you can confirm it that way. But aside, don't be texting her throughout the week and asking how she's doing and all that stuff. It gives off more of like a pen pal kind of vibe, and it's not going to allow mystery before that initial meetup. And after the date as well, don't be blowing up her phone asking, hey, I had such an amazing time. Let's meet up tomorrow, or, when can I see you again? It's just allow some of the mystery. Allow a few days to pass by before you reach out with her again to schedule the next date. And the last thing, guys, is it isn't always about you. Sometimes you guys just don't have chemistry. Maybe your values or beliefs are not aligned, and it's better that you guys go your separate ways, because otherwise that's going to cause some conflict in the future. Or sometimes maybe she's dating somebody else and she kind of just saw you as a last-ditch effort to see what else is out there, and then she just realized that she liked this other guy. And so these are just some of the things to keep in mind and some of the factors that contribute to a girl wanting to friend zone you. So if you have any questions or comments, make sure to leave it in the comment section below or shoot me an inbox, and I'd be happy to answer you guys. And I'll talk to you soon.